Hello, all of you vaingloriously wonderful people. This is the Declasse Impaler LX Cruiser, and I'm about to find out if it'll off-road. And for some reason, this spin around shot is starting really late this week. I don't know why. I mean, I know why. I didn't edit the video right, but hey, you know what? It's fine. It gives us 5 extra seconds to talk about things. Anyways, yes, Bottom Dollar Bounties back for our 7th week. Yeah, that's gonna be about right. Going by pretty quick. We only have a few vehicles left from Bottom Dollar Bounties. In fact, 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's only 2 more weeks, and then after that, we will do World Off-Road at the Races with the 2 fastest and the 2 slowest. Next week we will have. We'll probably do the Castigator and the Nebula Turbo in the Drift Spec. We're not going to do all 4 of the Drift Spec vehicles, just like last season with Chop Shop. I don't see the need to torture everyone with 4 drift vehicles. Plus, then we would have an odd number of cars, and, you know, nobody wants that. So we'll do that next week, and then the week after that, I don't even know if either vehicle will make it up the mountain. No, Hobo's having this problem. We'll do the Burrito, the Bail Enforcement version, and the Pizza Boy. The Pizza Boy is going to DNF. If it gets this far, I'll be surprised. Yeah, that's the plan for the next 2 weeks. And then, of course, once all that's done, we'll take the 2 fastest and the 2 slowest and race them. Granted, the 2 slowest will probably have to go up in the list a bit because it'll probably be vehicles that aren't raceable. Like, we can't race any of these emergency vehicles. And currently, right now, the 2 slowest are emergency vehicles. So, you know, that just wouldn't work. So we'd have to go up from there to pick. But we'll figure it out. For the LX Cruiser, you know, it's an interesting one because it doesn't have a ton of power. So I thought it was going to be okay. But what happened right there was a combination of 2 things. It has just enough power to occasionally spin its wheels. And of course, if you're turning, that will lead to some oversteer. Not a lot, and it's usually easy to correct. But what happened back there was, as the back end was losing grip and I was trying to correct for oversteer, at that exact same moment, the right front wheel caught a bush, slowing down the right front while the back left was trying to come around. So it just came completely around sideways, which sucks because that costed a lot of time. You know, it's an unfortunate thing, but you know, with World Off-Road, when there's issues like that, it always comes down to, is it a characteristic of the car that led to the incident, or was I just being a bad driver? And there's always a balance somewhere there. Sometimes it can be a characteristic of the car, and I am being a bad driver. But in that one, I think it really comes down to the characteristics of the car. It gets hung up by bushes, has a bit of oversteer, and so we wound up sideways. And yeah, it also did not want to turn in to do this climb. It just refused. So instead, I was just like, you know, screw it. Instead of struggling with it and trying to fight the rocks, we'll just go around. So we are up 2 minutes, 52 seconds. So will it off-road? I mean, I'll give it the yes, but, you know, it's kind of down there a little bit in terms of performance. But, you know, hey, we'll go with it. By the way, that's Commander Hobo with me today. Didn't have a big crowd, just he and I. Our usual third party, Raven, was on the road at the time we needed to record. I think he's moving this week. And that's probably what led to him being absent. Oh, Hobo's having troubles. I love that as his car started rolling, his character's priority wasn't, oh my god, the car's rolling. No, it's reach out, close the door. I'm really interested to see if he saves this. Right there, I stopped because the car just, I don't know, it just, the car's throttle just stopped responding. My controller wasn't dead. I was giving it input, and the car just wouldn't go, even though I was pressing the accelerator. So very peculiar on that. Hobo's trying his best. I'm more interested in what Hobo's doing right now than my run. It's quite good. But yeah, you know, so okay, we should talk stats. Yeah, my bad. While you watch Hobo struggle to get back up on the track, I'll talk stats. This is 10 seconds slower than the civilian version of the Impaler LX. Oh my god, I just got stuck on the bush, so I looked up. Out of the 441 vehicles that we've tested as of this vehicle, it is 170th. So down there in the order quite a bit. It is 0.28 seconds slower than the Hot Ring Everon, and 0.0167, so like just over a tenth of a second, or a hundredth of a second faster than the Vajero. In terms of the 15 emergency vehicles that we've tested as of this video, it is 7th, so right there in the top half. It is 2.62 seconds slower than the Dominator FX Interceptor, and 8.68 seconds faster than the Greenwood Cruiser. And then in terms of, the tree of many crashes claims victim. In terms of bottom dollar bounties, it is 12th out of the 13 we've tested as of this vehicle. 1.38 seconds slower than the Vorschlaghammer. And then the same split to the Greenwood. Yeah, I was trying to do like a really nice drift around that corner and totally failed. Looks like Hobo is slowly catching up though. He might get here in time for a jump. Well, maybe not. What we'll do is we'll stop here. We're down 227, and then we'll speed up the footage just a little bit. Let Hobo get a little closer. There we go. And now he can get his jump in. Beautiful. Majestic. Soaring through the air. Almost got a Jeep. But that means we're back at the top of Mount Chiliad for our damage descent to fling the vehicle off. And I just realized that 2 weeks in a row, I've actually got my alternate crew color. There's the Vainglorious Elite, which isn't really an active crew. It's just there for color crew. And I haven't changed it from what I call Ultra Black in years. It's just all it's ever been. I usually don't get too much into the crew colors, but when I want a car to be nice and solid black, the ones we can get in Los Angeles Customs just don't do it for me. But yeah, last week we had the Vorschlaghammer, and this week we have this. Interesting that the glass surrounding the rollers, the lights on top, if you don't know what rollers are, but the glass broke, but the rollers are fine. You would think that would have taken them out as well, especially as many times as I've landed on my roof today. This was a bit of a struggle getting this thing down. It wanted to go backwards. Case in point. It just was not pleasant to bring this thing down the mountain. Wound up rolling and going backwards and hitting trees and just anything you can imagine to just make it a more complicated damage descent. Thought I was going to get a thread the needle on this one. Oh, I did get a thread the needle on that one. Which one is it that I don't love? This one. Yeah. As I pirouette, flip, and roll simultaneously. That takes a special kind of skill issue. So does that. It's just, like I said, this car just did not want to cooperate at all. It was interesting. The bumpy, muddy bits down here are always a bit of a challenge, but today especially so. And yeah, no hope of getting over the wood pile with this one. I have no momentum, and I'm not going to go back just to get him run up. So now I just got to try to climb that side. There we go. We're up, and now we're down the mountain in 1 minute 59 seconds. So let's take a look at the damage on the Impaler LX Cruiser. Most of the windows are gone. All the non-emergency lights are missing. The right fender, left rear door, and the trunk are missing. I guess with that door being there, make it real easy for a prisoner to escape. Also looks like the remaining doors won't close. I forgot to note that on screen, but it's true. Has bent wheels and body damage, and Hobo's back there assaulting the wood pile, trying to climb over it. But there we go for our support vehicle. Looks like he's about to catch on fire at any moment. And there's our rear shot. And that's going to bring us to our next vehicle. Also, a Declasse Impaler, this time with the SZ Cruiser. I thought it was a nice matchup, you know, do both Impalers, two different generations. See how they stack up against one another. Of the two, it's hard for me to pick a favorite. You know, the one we just did is just a box, whereas this one was everything that was wrong with 1990s design. All cars looked like they had just sat in the sun a little too long. and were a little melty and rounded, and you know, that was just kind of the design language. Oh, high grade down. There's not very many 90s cars that I'm a fan of. There's some sports cars, some JDM stuff that I think looked good. But for the most part, like GM and Ford, they were just doing jelly bean cars. like look at the Ford Taurus, perfect example. This is a perfect example. The wagon version of this, especially notable in a Buick Roadmaster. Tell me that thing's not just a big jelly bean running down the highway. Yeah. Anyways, I'm kind of off on a tangent there. Speaking of tangents, my boss when I was in college had a Buick Roadmaster wagon. Or no, he had the sedan. My bad. He had the sedan. And anytime we had stuff going out UPS, he would send me to the UPS store and always have me drive his car. That thing was a boat. Oh my God, I hated it. It was like a block long. Anyway, let's talk about the actual car that we're in. And it's doing really well. It does have a bit more power. So there is the struggle to fight the wheel spin so that I can keep the power pushing the car forward and not just spinning the wheels in the dirt. And so that was the big challenge here, was just making sure I could get that back end to hook up and actually make, you know, a forward momentum. And for the most part, we did pretty good. In fact, this winds up turning in a fairly decent time. Did I say that the LX Cruiser was 10 seconds faster than the Civic version? No, it's slower. Probably because we went sideways. I can't remember. I just was thinking of the stats on this one. Like, did I say faster or slower? So yeah, another hiker down, and that's not going to be the end of my hiker melees. No. But it, you know, I had my wee-woos on, even if it may have been slightly after the fact. So you know, it was just police enforcement. They're not supposed to be on the mountain. This mountain. This belongs to the Vainglorious. You, as players, you have a universal license to enjoy the mountain all you want. NPCs, no. They have to stay off our mountain. It's just the way it is. It's the law. I don't write the laws. It's just law. We're up in 2 minutes 33 seconds. So will it off-road? By the way, that guy, yes, it will. That guy that you saw running towards my car there, right at the end, yeah, he wound up pulling me out of the car right before, or right after the scene cut off. It was quite comical. I pulled out a shotgun and reminded him that was probably not the best idea. And he ran away in fear. So let's talk stats. Compared to the civilian version, this is a rare outlier here. I guess outlier would make it rare. Yeah, it was kind of redundancy, wasn't it? It is 6.13 seconds faster than the civilian version. The civilian version has slightly less power, but I think it weighs a little less. I don't know. I can't remember. I forgot to look it up on GTAcars.net right before I recorded the video, so I don't know. But you should use that website. If you're interested in car stats and GTA Online at all, and even like, I think he's about to do like GTA 4 cars if he gets time. I don't know. But, and he being Bruffy1322, you should go look him up. Fantastic stuff. But anyways, in terms of overall standing, out of the 441 vehicles that we have tested, this was 36th, putting it well within the top 10%. I think it's like top 8% is what I calculated that to be. It is 1/10 of a second slower than a Desert Raid, which that's kind of impressive to be hanging with a Desert Raid. And then it is 0.53, so basically half a second faster than the Baller STDs. So up there with some really impressive off-road. Oh dear, the front end bounce, that's always dangerous right here. Oh, yep, off we go. Oh yeah, that's an easy save. Okay, we're good. In emergency vehicles, out of the 15 we have tested, it is the new number 1 fastest emergency vehicle in GTA Online when it comes to climbing a mountain. It is 10 seconds faster, 10 even flat, than the Gauntlet Interceptor, which shouldn't be all that surprising considering the Gauntlet Interceptor just spins its wheels all day long. And out of the 14 vehicles we've tested for Bottom Dollar Bounties, it is 5th. It is 2.53 seconds slower than the Pipistrello, and it is 4.7 seconds faster than the Envisage. And pardon me, you're going to just get to listen to wee-woos for a moment, because I need to take a drink of water. And we are down 2 minutes, 24 seconds. Once again, another majestic jump from Commander Hobo. Absolutely beautiful. It was a little too dark for us to do the damage descent the same day, so we waited for morning. So we have a rare morning damage descent, or right at dawn. I think it was like just before 6 a.m. in game. So yeah, good times. Not a lot of harsh light. Gives some nice soft shadows. Those of you on mobile, it might be a little dark, but I think it should be fine. And we're just kind of in a melee at this point. Just taking each other on. By the way, I haven't mentioned it. If you would like to take part in Will It Off-Road or any of our community series, join the Vainglorious Discord, which we would love to have you there even if you don't want to take part. But if you are a part of it and you own the game we're playing on the platform we're playing it, goodness, I have a lot of air there. You can join us, and of course, that means you'll also be featured in the behind-the-scenes video, which has our Discord conversation instead of this voiceover. It is an ad-free, slightly less edited version with some outtakes and other behind-the-scenes type stuff that is available to channel supporters, and you can find the link to that information on how to become a channel supporter in the description down below. I'm having a better time, I think, than the last card, but it's still not going well. I've managed to hit every single culvert that I've come up to. But hey, look at this. I know I clipped it at the end, but I'm counting that as over the wood pile. I'm counting it. We're down 1 minute, 23 seconds. So let's take a look at the damage on the Impaler SZ Cruiser. Most of the windows are gone, all the lights. The hood and the right doors are missing. It has bent wheels and some body damage. It's kind of crinkly there in the back, but up at the very front, it's definitely suffering quite a bit. Very smooshed. Very, very smooshed. Maybe the grill came out too. Can't tell. No, it was with the hood. And there is Hobo's support vehicle from the front. His engine is not an engine anymore. And there he is from the back. I want to thank you very much for watching this week. We'll be back, as I mentioned earlier, next week with the Castigator and the Nebula Turbo. I think that's how we're going to do those. Or maybe it's the Castigator and Burrito Bale Enforcement. Not sure. We'll see. Anyways, there's a million things you could have watched today on YouTube, and you chose this video, and I sincerely appreciate that. Until next time, I'm Brandon, reminding you to stay vainglorious.